Now, some regressives have come out and done and said things that make absolutely no sense. After the attacks in Cologne, Germany on New Year's Eve, we talked about how it was a very widespread in terms of media coverage, that the background of the men was not mentioned. And then we started seeing all sorts of strange comments come out. Now, our friend Dave Rubin from Rubin Report over on Aura TV, he found a few instances of sort of very regressive comments, and I want to outline them for you here. At the top of the list is one we already covered, which is that the mayor of Cologne, Germany, had this code of conduct released, which was mostly focused on what the women should be doing, what the victims should be doing. And while we talked about this, Lewis, there's a difference between sort of practical advice about how to be cautious and bordering on victim blaming. And we already talked about how many of the elements of that code of conduct made no sense. Like, for example, keep strangers at arm's length away from you in crowds in public, right? Some elements of that made absolutely no sense. Dave talked about that. We talked about that. But there are other examples that Dave Rubin pointed out in a really great article. He pointed to a tweet, Lewis, from self-described feminist Lori Penny, presumably a progressive, I don't really know. She tweeted something out truly reminiscent of the right. She said, quote, "So bored of racists who only pretend to care about women's rights when they see an opportunity to bash Muslims." This is straight out of the right-wing playbook, almost alluding to sort of concern trolling, because you can criticize Muslims by reporting the story. This is akin to when right-wingers say, oh, the left is racist for seeing racism. This is the left saying someone claiming to care about women's rights is racist because the perpetrators appear to be Muslim. This is absolutely regressive, and we have to watch out for stuff like this, Lewis. This is not good. This is exactly what Majid Nawaz is saying we should not be doing.
Yeah, the right is always accusing us of making everything about race, right? In this case, I don't know if this is about race technically, right?
Right, absolutely.
I mean, so I don't know. You just have someone here who's very afraid of appearing to be an Islamophobe. Maybe someone who hasn't even really looked into what has happened here and is just kind of throwing this stuff out there for everyone to see anyway.
And a third example, which Dave Rubin points out, is straight up conspiracy theory material. This comes to us from Frances Coppola, who's a writer at Forbes, according to her Forbes profile page. She threw out an absolutely baseless conspiracy theory where she said, I bet they did. I suspect anti-immigration people of organizing the Cologne sex crimes. Fastest way of getting borders closed. This is, again, reminiscent of right-wing false flag conspiracy theories. The idea that, no, the reports are wrong. What we have here, Lewis, is a completely unproven hypothesis that it's actually people who want to stop immigration who coordinated these attacks to make it appear as though migrants, immigrants, refugees, asylum seekers are guilty of rape so that we shut down the border. Baseless claim. I mean, no evidence whatsoever.
Yes, the claim is that in multiple cities in Germany and other countries on New Year's Eve, somehow they all coordinated and people were raping, robbing, and sexually assaulting their own citizens and neighbors in an attempt to close borders. No, I don't think that's what happened.
Absolutely baseless, and great job by Dave Rubin staying on top of this stuff, as we will.